Congress confirmed Donald Trump's presidential victory today by accepting his 304 electoral votes. It's official. But that hasn't stopped a group of more than 170 Democrats in the Congress from trying to set up a taxpayer-funded commission to investigate Russian meddling in the election. The Protecting Our Democracy Act, or POTA, would give a 12-member committee a full 18 months to look into the matter. One of the leaders of this effort, California Representative Eric Swalwell, joins us now. Congressman, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thanks, Tucker, for having me back.
Well, we last talked to you last month, and you made the case for this commission, and your point was, look, there's a lot we don't know. But now there's a lot we do know with the delivery today of this report. Why would we need your commission?
Sure. Today, the public report that the White House put out with our intelligence communities made it clearer than ever that Russia attacked our democracy. It was ordered by Vladimir Putin, and they intend, and other countries likely would like to attack us again. And so I think we owe it to the American people, and my colleagues in Congress have joined me in this effort, to say, let's find out in an independent way what happened, why were we so vulnerable, and then make recommendations to make sure it never happens again.
So we learned today, or the report said, in any case, that the Russians intended to harm Hillary Clinton, and they believed that she was going to become president, and they were gathering information that might be used against her should she win. So given that, and I assume you accept that finding, shouldn't we find out now if they penetrated her server, which it strikes me was maybe the least protected piece of electronic equipment in the United States, and presumably that would be the first step if you were trying to gather information on her, you'd go to that server. It was not mentioned in the report. I haven't heard any Democrats mention that. If you get this panel, will she be subpoenaed on that question?
The goal of the panel, it's a bipartisan effort, because I believe Republicans and Democrats want to get to the bottom of the truth. And this is about making sure our elections belong to us. So the committee should have a wide scope in looking at what Russia did to try and undermine and influence our elections. So I'm not going to prejudge the results, Tucker.
Okay, but you say, well, I mean, two obvious points. You say it's bipartisan. Have Republicans signed on to this?
Well, I'm continuing to reach out to Republicans because I don't want this to be seen as trying to... Well, no, the commission would be bipartisan appointed. It would be Republican and Democratic appointed. I still believe that Republicans accept that we were hacked. John McCain held a hearing yesterday accepting that. But I would like to take this out of Congress, depoliticize it, and have members fully devote themselves to finding out once and for all what happened. Because after all, Tucker, the president-elect doesn't even accept that Russia hacked our elections. And so that reinforces the need to have an independent commission.
Can I stop you there? And I thought this when we talked before. There's something very disingenuous about you continuing to say you want to take this out of the political world. It's not partisan. When your statements have been entirely partisan. I'm going to read one of them to you right now. With the Russia-friendly president-elect taking office January 20th, you said, it's imperative we make sure our citizens are well-informed and our defenses are strong. So the implication is that somehow he's in league with Putin, or our defenses will be weaker if he is president because he is, quote, pro-Russian. I mean, that's an entirely partisan thing
Tucker,
to say because, of course,
Obama was
president.
You're a busy guy, but you should read his Twitter feed. Yeah, I know you're very busy, but if you read his Twitter feed,
I get it. You're entitled to your views, but it's not honest of you to say they're not partisan or there's no political agenda, because of course there is, and it's apparent in what you say.
Well, it's apparent in what Donald Trump says, which is that he admires Vladimir Putin, and so you know
but what
that
does it have to do with any of this? Do you think he abetted? I mean, okay, yeah, sure, he said nice things about Putin. I'm not here to defend it. I don't like Putin personally, but what does that have to do with the penetration of John Podesta's server and his email account? Do you think that Trump was somehow involved? What do his views on Russia have to do with this story? That's what confuses me.
Yeah. We are less safe as a country because we have a president-elect who does not believe in evidence. And so the American people are seeing our intelligence community undermined by the president-elect. So I think if you have something taken out of Congress and you have bipartisan experts look at that, hopefully, once and for all, we can sign off on what happened and move on.
Okay. So you said that part of, and you just said it again, that one of the purposes of this is to restore faith in our electoral system. And Americans are nervous about whether it's on the level, and you want to reassure them that it is. If that's true, why have you suggested that our voting machines were hacked? And you said it right here. On December 7th, you said the hacking included, quote, the scanning of electoral systems in Arizona, Illinois, and Florida. You know for a fact that the Russians had, and no foreign government that we know of, had any effect on the voting machines themselves, and you're applying otherwise. Doesn't that shake faith?
No, Tucker, you should read the report that came out today. No vote tallies were changed, but 3 election systems were hacked. And, that should concern us, that they intended to go into election systems. And I don't want to relitigate the results. Donald Trump is going to be the next president. But for us to be a safer country and secure our democracy, we need to know what happened and assure the American people in a bipartisan way that it won't happen again.
But you'll concede that Barack Obama was president when this occurred, right? So you're saying
yes.
that Trump is somehow making our country more dangerous, but it was President Obama who presided over this and who presumably left our defenses open wide enough that the Russians could exploit them. You don't mention that. I wonder
Tucker,
why.
I wish we would have done more to stop Russia while they were doing this. And I support the sanctions that are being placed on Russia. And it's incumbent upon Donald Trump to make sure those sanctions stay in place. And I hope he does keep them in place.
So since you read the report, you must have seen this. I don't think this has even been reported, but it's my favorite part. It found that the Russian government had run a disinformation campaign against fracking because they're worried about the low cost of American natural gas, which would, of course, undercut Gazprom, the state gas company in Russia. So environmental groups in this country were taking their cues from Russian propaganda masters. Would they be subpoenaed too, do you think?
This commission would look at Russia's intentions to influence our election. And I don't support anything that Russia does. I'm like you, Tucker, on this one.
So, but, I mean, if Greenpeace comes out and says fracking is dangerous, don't you sort of wonder, well, maybe they got that from their Russian spy masters who are kind of controlling them? I mean, that's what the report says.
And if they got,
the Russians are trying to make us against fracking.
And if they got that from Russia, they should disavow it now.
All right. Fair enough. Congressman, great to see you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Tucker.